If you've ever looked at a converting quote and stopped at the tooling cost wondering, what does this really include? This video is for you. Tooling is a relatively straightforward process, but there are some important caveats that you need to know about. Today, we're going behind the scenes to show you the tools that actually cut your parts, what affects their lifespan, and the tooling alternatives that might make more sense depending on your volume and design stage. Right now, I'm located in front of our tooling storage, where we store the tools to cut your parts. At its core, tooling is what allows us to cut precise parts at scale. In converting, we primarily use two types of die cutting tools. The first is rotary die. As you can see here, this is a cylindrical tool with a blade wrapped around it. As it spins on press, it continuously cuts parts at high speeds. Rotary tooling is ideal for long runs because it's fast, consistent, and extremely efficient. Next, let's talk about a flatbed tool. Instead of rotating, a flat blade is pressed down onto the material to create a cut. Flatbed tools are typically used for thicker materials, lower volumes, or parts that require specific cutting forces that rotary dies aren't suited for. Both tools create clean, accurate parts. The difference comes down to speed, volume, and material complexity. A common question we get is, how long does a die last? The short answer is, it depends. These tools often run for hours at a time, cutting hundreds of thousands or even millions of parts, so wear is inevitable. While no one can predict the exact moment a tool needs replacement, experienced converters can anticipate wear and plan for it. The biggest factor to determine your tool's life is what you're cutting through, and second is what you're cutting to. If your part requires a full cut through, the blade contacts a hardened steel anvil on every rotation. That repeated metal-to-metal contact dulls the blade faster. If the design allows for a partial cut, where the blade stops short of the anvil, the tool experiences significantly less wear and can last much longer. Layer count, material abrasiveness, adhesive types, and overall thickness all play a role in how quickly a tool wears down. Retooling happens when a die reaches the end of its usable life. Die cut tools are highly customized. Even small changes to part dimensions, tolerances, or materials can require a new tool. That's why design decisions early matter so much. One of the biggest mistakes we see is using overly tight tolerances that were never truly required for the product to function. Tight tolerances increase tooling costs, reduce tool life, and make retooling more expensive. Partial tooling is a term we coined for why we cover part of your tooling cost. When working with Strouse, if you order a tool, you are only required to pay for the initial tool costs and first retooling. After that, we take care of all the future costs of repairing the tool. That means when the tool wears out, you're not burdened with extra costs. Tooling costs can feel unavoidable, but there are alternatives. One option is flex tooling, which as you can see here uses a thin steel plate, which is then mounted to a magnetic cylinder. It doesn't last as long as a traditional die, but the upfront cost is dramatically lower, often 3 to 4 times cheaper and sometimes under $500. Flex tools work well for labels, thin materials, typically under 20 mil, prototypes, and low volume runs, especially when designs are still changing. The trade-off is lifespan, size limitations, and reduced versatility. Flex tooling isn't meant for high volume, long-term production, but it's an excellent stepping stone. If flex tooling doesn't work in your project, you can also use laser or digital cutting methods like the one behind me, eliminating tooling entirely because the machine does the cutting. These methods are ideal for samples, prototypes, and early development, which is why many first-run productions start here. While these tooling alternatives sound great, they do come with limitations. Non-rotary cutting typically has higher per part costs, limited material compatibility, and lower throughput. Lasers offer tight tolerances but can't cut every material, while digital cutters handle larger parts with looser tolerances. The right choice depends on your material, geometry, and production goals. Tooling isn't just a line item on a quote. It's a long-term investment in quality, repeatability, and scale. Whether you're choosing rotary tooling, flex tooling, or non-rotary tooling, the key is matching the tool to where your product is today and where it's going next. If you want help selecting the right tool strategy for your part, visit our Learning Center or reach out to us directly. Thanks for watching.